So to kick it off, we're starting with the biggest dog that there is in the game, Bud Light. For me, this is gonna go straight into F. It was one of the first beers I tried actually with people after I turned 21, and it was just terrible. I picked it because it was like, the generic, like, oh, this is the beer, Bud Light. But yeah, that's going to go straight to F tier. Number two, we're going to go with Dos Equis. This one's got a special place to me because it was probably the first beer I ever had, period. It was what my dad was drinking at the time. How old was I? I don't know. So this is going to go straight to A tier for personal reasons right here. Number three, we're going to go with a weird beer. Now, this one, some people have never heard of it. It's a 10% alcohol, high gravity lager. It's called Earthquake. This beer is weird. It tastes so sour. It doesn't taste like beer. It tastes like something that you should not be drinking. And when I looked up the picture to put it into Photoshop to make this tier list, these are two of the things I saw. Now, this should tell you pretty much everything you need to know about this beer. Now, this guy is actually a YouTuber and he reviews malt liquor. Here is the guy, and here's what he says about his channel.
I'm here to drink malt liquor. If you watch, you watch. If you don't, you don't. I want to be drinking anyway. Why not come up?
So, yeah, this dude doesn't even want to show his face. That's how wild Earthquake is. Here's what he has specifically to say about Earthquake.
Some people say it's a little harsh. It's not that harsh. Rugby. Malt liquor. Try to follow the blueprint. All right? Follow the blueprint.
So if it was for taste alone, we're going below F tier. Actually, I mean, compared to Earthquake, this is on the same list. For ease of, just consuming the substance, we're going to have to at least put Bud Light up to D. So Earthquake, F. But alcohol content, A. But damn, if I'm drinking a beer, I'm not trying to suffer. I'm not trying to forget how to walk. And if you drink an Earthquake, you're going to feel like you're in the middle of an earthquake. So we're putting this to F. Next, we're going with something that, while it is a classic, a lot of people can't stand it. We got Guinness. Look at Guinness. You can't even see through it. That's how thick it is. Now, the reason a lot of people, I think, don't like it is because it's usually not prepared properly. You're supposed to pour it to about here, let it sit till it gets completely black, and then fill it up the rest of the way. Then wait for it to get completely black again, except for the head, and then serve it. So, given the fact that you have to do all this to even pour it properly, we're going to put this at a solid B. It's great, tastes great. Alcohol quantity is not too high, so it's still in useful beer range. We're going with a B. We're going with a solid B on this one. The next one I'm going to throw on the list is another one of those extreme ones that our buddy Blackjack talked about. It's King Cobra. This is a beer that I thought deserved to be on this list. I've seen it. I've seen it everywhere. I think it's the only thing left that comes in 40s where I'm at. And again, this is just going to go straight to F. I think if you're drinking these, you might have some kind of problem because it's just not worth it. How they taste, it's just not worth it to consume one of these. Next, we're going with something that's a little bit of a classic. It definitely outranks its buddy on this list. We're going with classic Budweiser. We're going with that. I think it actually has some good flavor to it. I'm not sure why, because usually when you have a beer and a light version of it, the light is much less inoffensive with its taste. Anything that you don't like in the main full-bodied beer, it just gets the opacity turned down to 0 in the light. But in this instance, it almost tastes like two completely separate beers, where the light is just not good and the regular Weiser is still a pretty light lager and it's fine. So I'm going with, I would probably put it in C, but it's just so iconic. So we're going to bump that up to B. Then I guess if I'm giving things iconography points, I got to bump Bud Light up to C as well, just under Weiser. The next beer I'm poking at is going to be Yuengling. It's one of those beers that you get to act like you're drinking something fancy because it doesn't have light in the name. But I mean, you find them everywhere. It's not really that fancy. It's got a nice sounding name, Yuengling. You sound cool ordering it. But I mean, damn, it's just a regular beer. Nothing crazy here. This is a tough one. I can't put it any lower than D because it doesn't taste bad. It's just kind of like, all right, we got beers at the function. We're going with B. We're going with B on this one. Next in line, we got Coors Light. This one is very, very nifty. It's got ink on it that tells you if it's cold enough. And I believe it's the official beer of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is goated. Top 5 shows I've ever watched. So we're putting this straight to A tier. It's light, it's crisp, it's got like a bit of a sweetness to it that kind of counteracts that light beer blech. And It's Always Sunny. I'm pretty sure that's what Danny DeVito was gurgling up. So we're putting this straight to A. Straight to A tier. Coors Light, A tier. The next one we got is easily a contender for the true king of light beers. We got Mich Ultra. Okay, this stuff, it looks like liquid death for a reason because it's basically sparkling water with a little bit of yeasty flavoring, a little bit of beer flavor. It's like you have sparkling water, has a hint of lime, a hint of grapefruit. This is sparkling water with a hint of beer. And for that reason, it's going straight up to A tier. Lastly, we got one I'm torn about. Lastly, we got a rivalry that I am torn about. I cannot decide which one I like better. We got Miller Lite and we got Miller High Life. Both of these beers have the same kind of vibe going on. They don't taste like they have the artificial lightness. I don't know if it's actually artificial, but it just has that unnatural hue to the back of the flavors like Mich Ultra and Coors Light, where it doesn't feel like a beverage made out of bread, basically yeast. It doesn't quite feel like it. But these two definitely do feel like it. Like you're having bread. You're having bread soda. So I'm just torn because they both have the bread thing, but light just has that lightness. Might sound silly calling a light beer having lightness, but like I said with Bud Light and Weiser, it doesn't have that relationship. It doesn't taste like Coke and Diet Coke. It tastes like two separate beverages. But Light, Miller Lite, and Miller High Life, I think do these things properly. So both of these, I am putting both of these straight to A tier. Straight to A tier.